Do you want to scream? Do you just literally want to scream? Do you just want to go just to the top of your lungs? Just one good time. Do you want to scream? I know I do, because half of the time I can get frustrated and things can just become so overwhelming. And I just pack one thing onto the other thing and the other thing onto the other thing. And it just becomes so much that it feels like it is a rumble inside of me. And I just want to scream. Hello, I'm Dr. Keshia Keith, licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I'm here to help you grow through the dry places. Just like screaming. Screaming is a process that allows you to grow, even though you might say, okay, wait a minute, what about this screaming? Why am I screaming? I mean, I want to scream at people. I want to scream because of people. I want to scream for any other reason, but just giving myself permission to scream, okay, what about that? Because that just doesn't sound right. That sounds like you just made that up. But today, you have permission to scream. You have permission to just let it out. Just blare out that loud scream, that loud noise that is releasing all of that energy that you have stuffed inside of you. But you are not a trash can. So there is no need for you to have all of that garbage inside of you. It is time to release that and take out the trash. And today, you have permission to be able to scream and let that garbage out. Take it out. Take that garbage out. At least once a week in my area, the garbage man or woman, they are taking out the trash. We leave our receptacles on the road and they come and they empty them, and then we bring those back in. That is the same way with our bodies. A lot of times we go through our week, we go through our day, we go through our month, we go through our year, and so many of life's events and situations and circumstances just hit us hard. And when they hit us, sometimes we just try to keep on forging and moving forward. We just keep on trying to handle it and move and navigate and bob and weave and duck and all these other things, because we are trying to allow ourselves to keep going. We're trying to allow ourselves and make ourselves continue to do things, continue to have our regularly scheduled routine, when in reality, that routine has been really shifted and altered because of a lot of things that were outside of our control. A lot of that can create emotion. And screaming is just that emotion and that pain being projected out and personified and amplified outside of your body, where anyone within a certain distance would be able to hear you, depending on how loudly you are screaming. But that screaming is the energy that you are releasing through your vocal cords to allow you to take out the garbage. You're taking out the trash, and you have permission to take out the trash at least once a week, sometimes twice on Tuesdays. If you just feel that to the breaking point, like there's just nothing else. It's like that straw that broke the camel's back, in a sense. You can't take anymore and you just feel like you are boiling over. Allow yourself to scream. Now, sometimes you might not want to have that space and time in your house. Well, for me, I might be in the car and I just feel like screaming. And I absolutely do. And no one's in there to judge me or just to ask me what in the world is going on and why in the world am I making all this noise. I just take the time to just let it out, because that is me giving myself permission to take out my trash. That is me giving myself permission to do the things that I need to do that continue to help me to function, that continue to help me flourish, that continue to help me refuel. Because this is not something that you just don't do, because that means that you don't know how to control yourself. Well, if I am yelling and screaming in my car and no one else is there but me and the Lord, what am I doing that is taken away from something else? What am I doing that is disrupting something else that's going on? That is a space that I have chosen to be able to give myself permission. And you too have to give yourself permission, because this will prevent you from yelling at the children. This will prevent you from yelling at your spouse or your significant other or your sister or your brother or whoever. And instead of doing that, you will be directing that and projecting that in a space that is controlled, in a space that is safe and supported by you. Now, granted, if you are driving, I recommend that you understand how screaming impacts you and how it impacts your body and your reactions and all of that before you go trying to do that. Because typically my car is in park and I'm just in a space. I might be in my garage. I might be out in a parking lot somewhere, but I am giving myself that space. I am creating that element of release for myself. And you too can do that if you give yourself permission. There is nothing wrong with being able to, because that can save you and prevent you from having so many arguments and so many other situations that come about because you have misplaced your anger and you have projected it onto people and situations that it does not belong to. So you are now giving yourself that permission and giving yourself that space and that time to be able to release that. So I encourage you to absolutely take the time to scream, because if you feel like screaming, you need to make time to take out the garbage. Make time to identify, why am I angry, or why am I frustrated, or why am I at a boiling point to where I feel like I just want to scream? What is going on? Go back and retrace your steps and your thoughts. What has been going on that you have been just ignoring all of the emotion just to continue to go? What situations are creating those boilovers for you? When you have a better awareness and understanding of those things, then you can better create and carve out times for when you are going to take out your trash, because this will be the way that you allow that rhythm and that flow to happen. And just like anything else, if you continue to allow all of that garbage to build up within you, then that flow absolutely is not going to be smooth. That flow is going to be rugged, and you are going to find yourself irritable. You're going to find yourself frustrated. You're going to find yourself wanting to literally scream because you are not allowing yourself the opportunity to have an outlet. Everybody needs a release valve. What will your release valve be? For some people, they might like kickboxing because they can knock that punching bag out and they can give it all that energy and all of that pressure. Some people, they want to go and scream in their car because they're going to give all of that pressure, all of that energy, and put it out into the air so that they are not dealing with it and holding on to it. Because the more that we hold on to it, the more our chest starts to be tight, the more our breathing starts to become shallow, the more our thoughts begin to race, the more that we start to feel our hearts pounding, the more that we start to feel agitated and irritated, and our bodies become really, really tensed up. So be aware. Know your signs and your symptoms. Don't allow the boil over. Before you start to feel that it is going to be so heavy and so difficult that you are just going to literally explode on somebody, take the time to go and take your trash out. Take the time to make that a routine. Take the time to schedule that. Put it on your calendar. Make yourself a note. Allow yourself to set an alarm so that it can remind you that every week on Wednesday, hump day, I am going to allow myself to scream. I am going to take out my trash, because that is going to become the best feeling in the world for you. And if by chance you start to say, that's okay, but let me figure out something else, what other ways will you be taking out the trash? Will you go and try to allow yourself to kind of paint? Are you going to paint just splatter things onto the canvas? Because you are just releasing, as a symbol that you are releasing that emotion and you are letting it fly into a safe space that is going to create a masterpiece for you, because it is no longer rumbling inside of you. You are creating a sense of peace and a sense of tranquility within you while pushing out that anxiety, that frustration, and all of those things into that directed and specific area. And you never know, you might get a lot of beautiful array of colors, because sometimes even a mess can be a beautiful pour when you are releasing it in a healthy way. So continue to give yourself the grace and the space to take out your garbage, and just give yourself the opportunity and the permission to scream. You will feel better for having done so. If this resonated with you, if you want to make sure you share this, you want to like, you want to follow, you want to subscribe, definitely do that, because we love to see you here. Now, this next video, watch it and have a great rest of your day.